Hey, friends! Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. Come join me, your host, Nicole, for some hope-filled conversations about heartfelt entertainment that makes your heart swing. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. I'm your host, Nicole, joined once again today by my friend Alex to talk about Great American Family's original movie, Christmas Keepsake, starring Daniel Lissing and Jillian Murray. It was written by Courtney McAllister and directed by Colin Buds. Following the move to a new city, a father bonds with his daughter and stumbles upon an unexpected romance while tracking down the original owner of a Christmas time capsule. Welcome back to the podcast, Alex. I'm excited to chat with you today about this movie.
Yes, I'm really excited too. I really enjoyed this one.
Of course, yeah, same. And I think it's going to be up there in my top 10 for Great American Family.
Same here.
Christmas movies this year, or non-Hallmark.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we want to start with our Merry Musings or our hot takes?
Yes.
You want to go first?
Yes. I really love the story of this one.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a really sweet story with Daniel Lissing, who plays Tom, and his daughter Grace. Like they just moved to they moved from Australia to the States, and they moved into a new house, which I thought was really sweet. Let's see. And I love the love story between him and Elizabeth that you see flourish throughout the movie. And of course, there's the time capsule aspect. Grace, the daughter, finds during the movie, and then they go on a search to see who the time capsule belongs to, which I also was a great part of the film as well. But overall, I thought it was like a really good one.
I think so too. Yeah. I thought that Courtney did a fantastic job with the script, and the whole cast was just fantastic. And one of my favorite parts of this movie was the father-daughter relationship with Tom and Grace.
I agree. Yeah, I love that. I thought they had like really good chemistry together. Him and Grace, who played his daughter in the film. Yeah, I love that relationship.
Yes. A lot of sweet, tender moments.
Definitely.
Couple that made you laugh, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit later. But yeah. The mother-daughter relationship with April and Elizabeth, I thought was very sweet too.
Yes. Yeah, I really love their relationship too, because like the mom was like always like supportive of her, and she like wanted her to like get back out there and like the dating scene, and like yeah, I thought their relationship was really sweet too.
Yeah, I think so too. The matchmaking from April, what did you think about that?
Every chance that woman had, her mom, April, to put Tom and Elizabeth together, she took it and she ran with it. And I love that because she knew there was like something like going on between them. And she just didn't understand why the daughter was so hesitant to like start something when she knew there was like some sort of attraction going on between the two of them. But yeah, I love that. I thought it was nice.
Yes. And we'll talk about those matchmaking moments in the movie or later on in the review. I thought it had tons of Christmas feels. I mean, we've got a Christmas time capsule, we've got snowfall, like my headband here.
Which I love. I love the snowflake headband.
I thought it was very appropriate for this episode.
Very.
We've got baking Christmas cookies, a Christmas fair, which was going to happen, but we'll find out why it did not happen in a little while. We've got snowball fights. What else?
I know. What, like I said, you got, well, there was that, they had the tree lighting at the end.
Yeah, of course, the tree lighting.
The tree lighting at the end. What else did they have? I know. Are we missing anything?
The candlelight service.
Oh, right. There you go.
Yeah.
Candlelight, yeah, the candlelight ceremony, the tree lighting,
Tree huggy.
yeah, obviously the baking was a big component of the movie too,
Yeah.
which I loved. Yes, lots of Christmas feels.
Yeah. I loved the romance too with Tom and Elizabeth. And I think you mentioned this a few minutes ago, but the chemistry with Dan and Jillian was,
Yeah, was really
yeah,
good.
yes. And I also loved how Dan and even the young girl who played his daughter, I think her name
Hmm.
is Ellie, they got to use their Australian accent.
Yes, yes,
That
which
was
I
great.
really liked because
Yeah.
I don't know, like everybody probably does know this. Dan is from
Sydney.
Australia,
Yeah.
Sydney, Australia. So like in past movies that he's done, they he's always had like the American accent, and people were always wondering why they never gave him the Australian accent,
Yeah.
which he has, and I'm glad they did it for this film. So
Yes. He doesn't get to use it a lot, but I loved seeing it in this movie.
yeah, me too.
I think Australian accents are one of my favorites. Yes.
Me too.
Of course, we have the mystery of the time capsule, which I loved, and I'm glad that it got solved pretty quickly.
Yeah, me too. I'm like I was telling myself like during the movie, I'm like I hope that they don't push this out like to all the way to the end. We don't find out like to like the very end of who the owner of the time capsule was. But no, I'm glad they did it like fairly
Yeah.
like through the middle part of the movie. We found out. So
Yes. One thing I'm also glad that we didn't get in this movie, like we do in a lot of them, is a big blow up fight
fight.
between Dan's character and Jillian's character.
Yeah, I know. I like that they've been like doing that. I guess a lot less lately with these movies because I feel like it's in like every single one of these movies. Like there's
Yeah.
always like an argument or like something like that. It's like refreshing not to have that in a movie or in like a select few of these movies. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yes. I think we definitely need a sequel to this.
Yes, I would love a second one. That
Yeah.
would be amazing.
To see more of Tom and Elizabeth
Hmm.
and Tom and Grace
Hmm.
and the dynamic between the two of them with Elizabeth and her mom.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes. Moving on to our holiday highlights.
Hmm.
Would you like to go first and share some of
Yes. One of my favorite parts of this entire film was the scene where April invited Tom and Grace over for dinner,
Yep.
and Grace was doing the crafts with Elizabeth by like the table, and then April has the conversation with Tom, and how like Tom starts talking to her about how like he had to uproot like the daughter from her life, and it was like hard like bringing her here, not knowing anybody, but and like what that was like their plan. And I love how the April, her mom, tells her, I always had a plan B or a plan C,
Mhm.
just in case plan C didn't work out.
Mhm.
I was always so busy thinking about every scenario that could happen. I didn't enjoy what was happening in the moment.
Mhm.
After Elizabeth's dad passed away, it gave her a new perspective to
Mhm.
soak up every part of life, even the curveballs. If things don't go the way you hoped with your plan, just remember life has a funny way of working
Mhm.
things out. And sometimes where you wind up is better than anything you could have ever planned for. And like I thought that was like such an important part of the movie. I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people are planners in life, and they don't like when they don't have certain control
Mhm.
over certain things. It's hard for them, and I
Yeah.
like that that she told him that in that scene. It was like really sweet, like just to let like enjoy what was happening like in the moment.
Yeah. I like
Hmm.
that too. One moment that I'm not gonna lie got me a little teary-eyed was the first scene in the movie when
Hmm.
Tom and Grace get to their new house
Right.
and they walk in and Grace is kind of just standing there for a second looking around And, Tom walks up beside her, and of course, Grace is thinking about her mom, and he says, I think she'll be with us forever.
Yeah, that's the scene of them like when they get into the house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought that was very touching.
Yeah. Very touching scene indeed.
Yeah. The brief moment when they're unpacking boxes and they're talking about the participation ribbon that Grace
Mm-hmm.
got. I love how Tom is like, well, I'm proud of you that you participated.
I know, I love that scene too. I love that scene too. She goes, why it's a participation ribbon? Like, what's the big deal about that? He goes, well, I'm proud of you that you participated.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
We get to Grace in the backyard. She finds the time capsule, and inside is a Luna's Bakery and Cafe coffee cup,
Mm-hmm.
a candy cane cookie recipe,
Mm-hmm.
a nativity scene drawing, a homemade ornament, a clipping of an article about the tree lighting, and a note on how to have the best Christmas ever.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that moment with her reading the note, and as she's reading the note, she's pulling out all the things related to.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that was a really cute scene too.
Yeah.
That's when the daughter first finds it. Oh, you mean
Yes.
that's when the daughter first, yeah, she go, and then I love how like her and Tom like throughout the film like they try to
Yep.
start doing the
Activists. Yeah.
traditions themselves, which I thought was like a
Yes.
sweet nod to
Yeah.
the keepsake.
Yes. What did you think about Tom and Elizabeth's meet cute moment? And of course, Grace is there too because they walk.
Right. Yeah, at the bakery, I thought I thought it was really sweet the scene.
Yeah.
I knew like when they first saw each other, I was like, yeah, these two are gonna have chemistry. It's there.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Of course, they walk in to get hot cocoa, but it's all out for the day. So they had to go back the following day
Yeah.
for the hot
Mm-hmm.
cocoa. And Tom talks with Elizabeth about Australia, which is, of course, where he moved from. And I love
Yes.
that they put that in the script, that he actually moved from Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Tom, while he is at home with Grace, he gets a call from a woman named Natalie. And I'm guessing he works for her.
Yeah.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's his boss at his job.
Yes. That's what I thought too. I was a little bit
Yeah.
confused there first, Nicole, with that scene because I wasn't sure like what he had to do with what she had to do with Tom, and then I'm like, yeah, he has to work for her. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
my guess at least.
Yeah. She called him about the plan that he drafted for the Christmas fair. He wanted
Mm-hmm.
to have at their new house for Grace.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so sweet. Throughout the
Yeah.
whole movie,
He
we
was
see
like planning
him.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was planning it. I love that. Like he didn't want to tell her. He wanted to like keep it a secret to
Yes.
surprise her.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's not looking like the fair is going to work because all of the vendors are already booked.
Mm-hmm.
Boo.
I know that scene made me sad. I was like, no, this has to happen for her.
I love when Grace brings the cookies for Elizabeth and helps her bake the raspberry scones. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, this is when she doesn't tell her dad that she's leaving. She just leaves
Yes.
a note.
No. She goes, okay, Dad, leave it a note.
What did you think about that? I thought it was sweet how protective Tom was of Grace.
What? Yeah, like I know I would be like worried too because like she's like not little, but
No.
she's young. Like she's in
Yeah.
like a new place. Like she doesn't really know anybody. Like yeah, I was very like concerned about
Yeah.
her. But yeah, which I thought was like really touching.
Yes. Of course, we get a little bit of matchmaking from April when she's
Like,
talking to Elizabeth.
oh god, but she said she goes, well, I don't see your ring on his finger.
And Elizabeth was like, well, there it is.
There it is.
Oh my gosh.
I love that line.
Yes. Oh. And I think she might have said before that, she's like, here it comes. Another scene with Tom and Grace at home that I loved was when they are unpacking more boxes and talking about the Christmas decor. For example, the angel that she made when she was 6, the angel tree topper from her mom that they implemented in the tree, and then the star topper that Tom had when he was her age, and the snowman.
Yes.
And then the talk before bed when Tom says, if anyone can solve the mystery, it's you. About the time capsule, that is.
Yes.
I thought that was a nice moment.
Mm-hmm.
Tom and Grace in town, and they recognize the man that bought the last cup of cocoa the day before from Luna's, who could be the owner of the time capsule. He gives a short speech and mentions that he and his family have been planning the nativity scene since he was a kid. And then they talk with April, and she tells them his name is David Smith. And coincidentally, he used to live in their house.
I was thinking to myself, I'm like, this isn't a coincidence here. What's going on with the time capsule? Like I started like connecting the pieces.
Yeah.
When that scene happened, I was like, oh, okay, this is what's going on.
Yes. Speaking of somebody putting the pieces together, Tom and Grace have a conversation at home about this very thing when she says that she wants to make David an ornament because of it possibly being his time capsule.
Yes.
And Tom says, that's very nice of you, but we still don't know it's his. Dad, come on. He drank the hot cocoa, planned the nativity scene. He works at the tree lot, and we're living in his old house. The evidence all lines up. Nancy Drew herself would be impressed. But when Nancy Drew run out of glue halfway through the project,
and Tom goes to Grace. He goes, "You want me finished with this?" He goes,
oh my gosh. Love the Nancy Drew reference.
Yes.
I've always been a fan of Nancy
That was
Drew.
clever. Yeah, me too.
I even have some of the books.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I'm pretty sure I read 1 or 2 of the books.
Yeah. It's been a long time, but I love Nancy Drew. I love the talk outside of the house with Tom and April. And this is when Tom figures out that April and Elizabeth are his neighbors. And he's like, oh, so that's how you knew where we live.
Another coincidence.
Yep. And then she goes on inviting him and Grace to dinner and trying to set up something.
Play matchmaker once again.
Yep. By telling Tom he should make the holiday trifle, which is Elizabeth's specialty.
Yes.
And of course, she helps him because, as he says, he basically has no idea how to cook. And I loved that scene when she helps him cook the holiday trifle and the cranberry sauce.
Yes, the cranberry sauce. I love what she tells him. She goes, what? You get cranberries out of a can? She goes, who does that?
Yep. Oh, are you a fan of cranberry sauce?
Actually, I tried it once, Nicole. I wasn't that big of a fan, but I know people like that absolutely love it. But no, I'm not actually a fan. Are you?
Yes, I love cranberry sauce. It's one of my favorite side dishes for the holidays. And of course, I also love green bean casserole, sweet potato casserole.
Ooh, sweet potato casserole sounds good.
Yes. We make one that's really good for Thanksgiving with marshmallows on top.
Ooh. Yeah, we make like the yams, and we also have like marshmallows too.
Yeah.
With yeah, which are really good.
Yeah. The recipe for the sweet potato casserole is from one of Joanna Gaines's cookbooks, I think.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice. Mhm.
So good.
So I know that woman can cook.
Yes. A kind of comical moment with Tom and Grace is when she is walking by the bathroom, I think, and he's
Mhm.
like holding up two different color shirts, trying to decide what to wear.
Yeah.
She walks in and, he's like, which one do you like better, the blue or the green? And she's like, green. And then she's like, are you getting ready for your date?
Date.
And he's like, date is not a
Date. Date. It's in a date. I know. That was funny.
yes. And also, I have to point out, I can't help but think this might have just been a potential shout out to the Hardys here because in the season 2 finale, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding about this. In the season 2 finale, his character, Jack, is about to propose to Elizabeth. And
Mm-hmm.
he's in his office, like
Mm-hmm.
in the Mountie office. And his dog, Rip, is there too. And he's trying to
Mm-hmm.
decide between a blue and a green tux.
It
I'm
probably
not
wasn't.
kidding.
It probably wasn't a cool. Oh, maybe it was. I don't know, but that's a good. That's a. Wow, I didn't know that. Like, I don't really watch One Calls the Heart, but that's a good. That's interesting.
And what's funny is he asks Rip's advice on the color.
Mm-hmm.
On When Calls the Heart, that is.
That's funny.
Yes. But I thought that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool little reference there, whether it was intentional or not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I really loved this moment. We already talked about the first part of it when they are cooking the trifle together and the cranberry
Mm-hmm.
sauce. But the second part, when they open up to each other about their shared loss, that was
Mm.
one of the best scenes in the movie.
I agree. I agree. I love that they like shared that to each other. And because I knew from like the beginning of the first moment in the film when Tom was talking to Grace about the
Mhm,
mom, I'm like I knew something like had to happen to her that
mhm,
was tragic, and I was picking up on how with Elizabeth something was going on with her
mhm,
too. I just didn't know until they had that
mhm.
conversation. But yeah,
Yeah,
definitely one of the best scenes.
yeah. They
Mm-hmm.
both got sick, unfortunately, and Tom says that kind of loss, it's something that never gets better. It's just something you have to live with.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hold
Mm-hmm.
hands and then get interrupted.
Yeah.
Tom's phone ringing
Yes.
because of Grace calling
Mm-hmm.
about picking out a Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom and Grace don't get to pick out a tree that day because they are basically already closed by the time that they get there. David is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they are at dinner with Elizabeth and April,
Mm-hmm.
April does some matchmaking again and gets Tom and Elizabeth to go tree hunting while she and Grace work on baking bread at Luna's.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the conversation in the car with Tom and Elizabeth, and then actually going to the tree lot. That was nice.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was laughing at the scene. When I love how Grace, the daughter, was picking up on them, like
Yeah.
liking one another, just like April was, and she's like, "Oh, okay." She goes, "Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll come with you."
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Oh, and before we get to Tom and Elizabeth at the tree lot, I have to mention the brief little cute father-daughter moment with Tom and Grace going to the tree lot.
Yes.
The previous day.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about making the real cranberry sauce with
Yes.
Elizabeth
Mm-hmm.
and what they're having for dinner. And
Mm-hmm.
it is Grace's favorite. And she's like, ham.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, we're having ham tonight. We're having ham tonight.
Yeah, that was so adorable.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
that was so cute.
I loved how like close they like were in the film, Tom and
Yeah.
Grace. But
Yeah.
that relationship was like really, really, really nice.
Yeah. Yes. We get an update about the Christmas fair, and Natalie mentions to him that all the vendors are in for the Christmas fair.
Mm-hmm.
She won't be able to oversee everything, which means that he has to take it on himself,
Mm-hmm.
which is more work
Mm-hmm.
and less time with Grace.
Yes. Yeah, that yeah.
Bittersweet.
Mm-hmm. Like he
Yeah.
said, he wants to do it for her to surprise her, but he's sad because it's gonna take so much time
Yes.
at
Yes.
like spending it with her.
Yeah.
But he says I remember that scene, like he said, "Oh, if it's gonna make my daughter's Christmas the best, it's worth it."
Yeah. Hmm. And back to the tree lot with Tom and Elizabeth. I
Mm-hmm.
love when they're talking about the five main types of Christmas trees: spruce, pine, fir, cypress, and cedar. And Tom's like, are they really all that different? Tom. First the canned cranberry sauce, and now this. Come on.
I was laughing. I was laughing at this. I'm like, how can you not know the five different types of Christmas trees? But then again, he is from Australia,
Yeah, yeah.
so that's okay.
Yeah, that's
I'll
okay.
give him a pass for that one. So
Yes.
I probably wouldn't know either.
No. Yeah. I've never had a real Christmas tree. Have you?
I've had, yeah,
I've,
it smells so good. But now, like the last few years, I've had like a fake one.
yeah, we have an artificial one, but it would
Mm-hmm.
be fun at some point to have a real Christmas tree.
Right, I shouldn't have said fake tree, an artificial tree. It's a
I
better
knew
term.
what you meant. Yeah, because I do love the smell,
Yes, I know. That balsam cedar smell is like so good.
but I'm
And
sure
yeah, you can smell it like right when like when you walk into someone's house, you can like smell it. It's so good.
that they're a lot of work. You have to water them every day, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we're always worried that we're going to find an animal of some sort hiding inside the tree,
That's so funny.
like a squirrel or a
Or
raccoon
something.
or a bird.
For a squirrel.
Probably a squirrel is the most likely option. Oh, and I mentioned this on another movie review a couple weeks ago. But funny Christmas tree story. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. My mom had the front door open for a couple minutes one day, and the wreath was already on the door, and she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bird sitting in the wreath, and the bird got in the house. And I'm not even kidding. It went up and it perched itself on the top of the tree where the tree topper was.
No way. That's crazy. Like they're really smart birds. Let me tell you something. They're really smart. That's crazy. Aw, of all the places.
Of all the places, I think it was a Carolina wren.
Aw.
And we spent about maybe 15-20 minutes trying
Trying
to
to get
get the bird out of the house.
aw. Didn't want to leave.
I was freaking out. I
You
think I
were
was scaring the bird because I was afraid it was gonna like go to the bathroom on the furniture or on one of our heads
yeah. You don't know. I know.
or
Yeah.
break something.
Right. Right.
But we
Right.
did get it out safely,
Oh,
so
that's
the bird is okay. But back to Christmas Keepsake. Another nice father-daughter moment was at home, and they are talking about solving the mystery of the time capsule.
Mm-hmm.
And Elizabeth and Grace says, I think you like her, and I think she likes you too.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay with me if you do. Like Elizabeth, I mean. I know we
Mm-hmm.
want you to be happy.
Mm. I love that she loved them, like being
Yes.
together too. The
Yes.
daughter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was even playing a little matchmaker.
Yeah, she was. She
Right.
was.
Yeah. And I have to say, hearing Dan's character, Tom, calling Grace Angel, that was precious. Melted my heart into a puddle.
Me too. Me too. Like obviously, like the Elizabeth isn't going to replace her real mom,
Yeah.
but yeah, I love that she wanted them to be together.
Yeah. Oh, this was a good moment. And it was after Tom and Elizabeth went looking for the Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
And they are talking about everything that's happened so far and, how it's meant to be and
Mm-hmm.
coincidence. And then they almost share a kiss until they're interrupted by the church bell. And then Elizabeth gets all clammy.
Right, right. I wanted them to kiss so badly. I was like, something's gonna interrupt it. I'm like, and it happened.
So close.
So
But they made up for it in the end.
yes, yes, they did. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this scene at home when Tom and Grace are decorating the tree and wearing the paper crowns, that
Yeah.
was cute. And then the way they sat down in unison, that was perfect. Even their arm movements were like almost
Right.
exactly
It
the
was like
same.
this thing's like definitely like perfectly timed.
I wonder how many takes that took to get
I
that
know. Me too.
exactly right. And they talk about Elizabeth, and Tom says, I love you, Gracie. And she's like, I know. That was
So
very
cute.
cute. Yes. Another update about the mini Christmas fair.
Mm-hmm.
Tom gets a call from Natalie, and vendors are all out because of an apparent impending snowstorm.
Mm-hmm. The
Uh,
sn-
the
mhm.
snow.
Right.
And the roads are closed.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth offers to help. And then she goes on admitting that the feelings she has for Tom are mutual,
Mm-hmm.
but she's afraid.
I thought that scene was so like perfect, and
Yeah.
I'm like, but I honestly thought I was way off, Nicole. I honestly thought the reason she was afraid was due to her like an ex boyfriend. I'm like, or a guy like she used to date in her past. I'm like it's gonna be about a guy. Like it's always gonna be about a guy. It's always about a guy.
No,
When it usually comes to these films,
yeah,
but I was wrong about that, which I wanted to be wrong.
yeah, very
But
bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
but again.
yes. She says that the bond he has with Grace
Mm-hmm.
reminds her so much of the one that she had with her dad. And,
Mm.
that scares her, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He's afraid of losing Tom.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think Elizabeth needs to do what she's afraid to do.
Do exactly.
When calls the heart here. And a particular sign given by a particular Mountie to another Elizabeth. Couldn't resist. But yes, that is great advice. Always
Mm-hmm.
do what you're
Free to do. Mm-hmm.
and you'll hear this later on when you watch more of the show. But as artist Parker Pennington Payne on SSD says, face the scary. Great advice.
Always do the
Actually,
things you're.
you already know that. Never mind.
Yes, yes,
I forgot you watched that
yeah.
episode already.
Very, very good advice. Always
Yes.
do the things you're
Yeah.
afraid to do because that's the only way you're gonna grow if you
Yes.
push yourself. Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth has another great talk with her mom, and it's about Tom and being vulnerable and her fear.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of my favorite quotes in the movie from April
Mm-hmm.
when she says, being vulnerable is a part of life. You're never going to get close to anyone unless you let your guard down a little.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to ask yourself if the other person is worth it. And even if it doesn't work out, well, better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
Mm-hmm. That was probably one of my best scenes
Yeah.
and favorite scenes out of the entire film too.
Same. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We get another scene with Tom and Grace at home and her reaction to the mini Christmas fair. That was sweet.
Mm-hmm. I know Tom was like so afraid, like it wasn't gonna be enough. And she was, Dad, I love it. It's perfect.
Yes. And she mentions it's the best Christmas yet. She says, I don't care what we do as long as it's together. And that's what really counts.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to try so many new traditions. We're basically Americans now.
I was laughing at that scene. I'm like, clever. Very
Yes,
true.
that was very clever.
Mm-hmm.
Another favorite scene was the candlelight ceremony and
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth giving the speech and dedicating the tree lighting to her father.
Mm-hmm.
And April suggesting to Grace that they go look at the tree so Tom and Elizabeth can talk. That was
Yeah, I love that. That was cute. I love you. And what did she tell her, April, the mom? I forgot what she
she
says to
just
her.
says, let's go look at the tree. And
And she's like looking at the two of them, and she goes, "Oh,
it,
yeah, yes."
yeah, it took a second for it to sink in for Grace, and she's like, oh, okay,
Okay.
yeah, let's go. Also, Tom and Elizabeth sharing their feelings for each other and their first kiss. And Grace says, I knew you liked her. It's okay. I like her too.
Yeah.
Not so bad yourself, kiddo.
Oh.
That was very sweet. And then the tree lighting, and Tom gets another call from Natalie. The vendors can't make it after all, but he calls it off to make new traditions, which I loved that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Even though I would have loved to have actually seen the Christmas fair.
Yeah, it would have been like the full thing. Me too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I thought the photo that they took was nice in front of
Yeah.
the tree on the
Mm-hmm.
paper.
Yes.
And the last scene, Tom and Grace at home with Elizabeth and April. They are burying the Christmas time capsule again. And Elizabeth says to memories,
Mm-hmm.
both the new ones we've already shared and the ones we haven't yet made.
Mm-hmm.
Grace is like, can we go inside and bake cookies now? April, last one inside is a rotten eggnog.
And they run into the house.
Yep. Yes, I thought that was so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Grace is like, not gonna be me. And Tom and Elizabeth have a talk. She gifts him the star tree topper that they saw at the Christmas tree lot
Mm-hmm.
that had a not for sale sign on it. So I loved that little callback to earlier on in the movie.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. I had a feeling she was gonna somehow get the tree topper in some sort of way.
Yes. After Tom says a little bit of my old home with my new home, she mentions to him that she told David his story and he was so inspired that he let her have it.
Mm.
It's just so dazzling. I loved that callback too.
I love the sparkly tree topper.
Yeah, I loved that callback because also when they were at the tree lot, she called the star tree topper dazzling. And the movie ends with all of them looking at the tree with April and the snow falling outside.
I also love the second kiss scene before she
Yeah.
walked in the house. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want them to kiss again.
Yeah.
I'm like, please let them kiss again, and they did.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah.
kiss was a little bit better than the first kiss, which I appreciate.
Yeah. I'm glad that they added another kiss in there.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were sweet, but I think the second one was my favorite out of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Moving into our ratings segment, what would
Mm-hmm.
you rate the plot and script out of 10?
I thought it was an 8 out of a 10.
Okay.
8. Mm-hmm.
I'll give it 9, just based on a couple things that we talked about throughout the review. But I thought it was fantastic.
Yes.
I think it's going to be in my top 3 this year. The chemistry. What would you rate
that? Definitely 10 out of a 10. I thought their chemistry was really smart.
But I gave it to. Christmas feels.
10 out of a 10.
10 out of 10, yep. And overall?
Overall, I thought it was also a 10 out of a 10.
Yep, I gave it 10 out of 10 too. Yep. I think it was a fantastic movie for a great American family. They have been knocking it out of the park.
Yes.
From what I've seen this year.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I've been really enjoying a handful of the movies this year. Yeah. I mean, I did last year and the year before too, but this year, like, I'm really enjoying the stories.
Yeah. Yes, me too. Well, thank you, Alex, for joining. This is always so much fun having you on. I can't wait to have you back for another Christmas movie.
Yes. Can't wait to be back again.
Yes, of course. All right, everybody. I think that wraps up our review of Christmas Keepsake. If you enjoyed this episode, you can like this video and share your thoughts on the movie in the comments. If you want to stay up to date on all of my movie reviews, you can subscribe to this channel and make sure to turn on the bell so you are alerted when new episodes come. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in the world, and we will see you next time. We love y'all. Bye!